think my issue with double standards altogether is that it's not right on either side. Whether society has normalized it or not, it doesn't matter. Does not matter. What you've done outside of being with a person does not matter. Should not matter. Should not devalue you as a person. It should not big you up as a person. I'm talking about when it comes to yo, what's the word? What's the word? It's your boy Damo. Um, Welcome to episode 13 of Let's Take It There Pod. Episode 13. This podcast has been kind of interesting for me to do. It's been taking a lot of mental agility and just mental strength to do a podcast like this. I'm talking about such heavy topics. And as an empath, it's just I would consider myself an empath, and I feel things so deeply, and it just sometimes can be a lot. So I'm working on it, but that's neither here nor there. Fix my curtain. We are back with another episode. Um, Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, all those good things. Let's Take It There Pod on YouTube. Let's Take It There Pod on Instagram. If you have anything that you would like to talk about, situations, stories you want to submit, um, advice you want to submit, don't hesitate to use our email at Let's Take It There Pod. That's Let's Take It There PODD at gmail.com. Yeah, so let's get straight into it. How y'all been, man? It's been a minute. Um, my goal is for me to create a community and a dialogue that of people that we chat with, talk to on a day-to-day basis. I do plan on having a co-host soon, so be on the lookout for that. Um, Things are starting to come into works. I'm just maneuvering through things, taking my time. I seen this post not too long ago, and the post was saying like you don't have to post every day to be a content creator. And I'm just trying to work on being more consistent and just loving what I do. All in all, that's pretty much the goal. So yeah, here we are. Week, well, episode 13. Yeah, my mic kind of broke, so just excuse that. Anyway, so let's get straight into it. So my mental health tip of the week is pretty simple. So um, I am gonna basically just talk about knowing when to let go. And I think it's very important that we discuss this because I think society has become very individualistic, and that's never something that I'm trying to push. I know that as human beings, we crave like intimacy and we crave other human relationships, and I think it's very important to note that. But also, we have been taught in so many different ways to accept things that come our way and to just kind of be just because you committed to something that means you're supposed to take whatever comes with it, even if it's physically or mentally abusing or harming you, and it just don't work like that. So sometimes we got to find the strength and the will to let go and ask God to remove you from situations. If you believe in God, if you don't, whoever your higher power is, but try to find ways to believe in yourself enough and love yourself enough to get out that situation. That's always the goal. Um, we treat things so minute, and these things can be so detrimental and um, treacherous to our culture and to our dynamic. So sometimes you just got to learn how to let go. And I wanted to point that out, especially for my mental health topic, because mental health is very important. And I think that our people still don't take that serious enough and still don't do enough for our mental health. There's so many things going on, and because of social media, we're able to live in other people's realities. And I think that it's very important that we still take time to figure out what works for us and what's good for us. So don't forget yourself in these situations and know when to let go. Another thing I want to talk about too is why everything feels like a think piece and how the things that we're going through are affecting our mental. So part of society feels like, or part of what we face and see on news media, news outlets, social media in general, is people who are illiterate or they just are ignorant of facts. And I think things become think pieces so much because we try to combat the ignorance and the lack of knowledge with things and opinions of things that make sense to us. And also, we want to kind of pour more into media and show, or at least this is how I feel. I'm not saying it's a real thing, but I'm just saying it's how I feel about it. We want to pour more into the ideology of knowledge, and like how we think about things is important, right? But I also do think that there are some people that just be saying shit and they just want a platform to say shit. They want to make money off rage baiting and all that shit, and that's up to you to choose what you consume. So I think it's very important to notate these things, but I think that think pieces, I like think pieces. I like people putting their opinions out there and us creating dialogue on these things because that's how passion starts to come about. That's how care starts to come about because we can't do shit about nothing if we don't care about it. And the more we keep saying we don't give a fuck or that shit ain't got nothing to do with us, we're gonna end up back in slavery. Anyway, so I think pieces are good. I just think it's how we use them. And when you start saying some um, hurtful ass rhetoric that does nothing to promote our community, nah, that's a whole other thing. So moving along. So I want to talk about. I'm gonna run through this losing the plot segment real quick because my capacity's short at this point, and I'm just here to inform y'all on what the fuck going on. So, foods that have been recalled, as far as we know, and this is just a small list. It's probably way more than that. Eggs, lettuce, basil, bacon, beef. I think I've seen something about um, just produce in general. Be careful and be wary of it. Um, there was some sort of fecal matter found in the ice in fast food restaurants such as McDonald's, KFC, and Burger King. Um, Pasta is starting to give off. People are catching listeria from that. And let's see what the fuck listeria is. What the fuck is that? Because I seen that shit. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Okay, so listeria is mild to it causes mild to gut illness, um, and it's usually diarrhea and vomiting within 24 hours. Severe, it's a severe invasive infection causes fever, muscle aches, and fatigue within 2 weeks. If it spreads to the nervous system, it can cause headaches, stiff necks, and confusion. And that's just coming from things pertaining to pasta, so noodles, pasta sauce, etc. Um, can't even eat ice at the fucking restaurant, like bitch. Yeah. Anyway, so another black person, a black man, was found unalive by lynching. Well, they call it suicide. I'm gonna call it a lynching because in reality, y'all know, they know, we know that black people do not lynch themselves in public places. It just does not. But we don't hang ourselves. When you hear about somebody committing suicide, it's usually through excessive use of drugs or a gunshot or um, if they do asphyxiation, it's usually within a private sector or a private room. It's not in a public space like that. And I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. And it's been a multitude of lynchings going across America, and it's just utterly fucking insane. And the fact that they aren't even looking at the situation or trying to investigate further and just automatically deeming them as suicides, that shows how much they care about us. A man was found guilty of bestiality. He literally was letting a dog perform oral sex on him. He literally got arraigned, prosecuted, and now is detained and in prison. That shows how much they care about black people. I know that shit is disgusting and it's against the law, But that shows how much they care because look how fast that happened. Look how fast that happened, and they didn't even. I mean, even though the person who caught him doing it had like screenshots and a screen recording of the video of the camera footage showing it, but it's just crazy because my thing is we're not even worth looking into. You think somebody how did if they have to use equipment to get up there to get the body from the tree, how the fuck do you think we got up there? I just genuinely want to know how do you think as a human being ain't no ladder in sight, nothing going on. We climbed our ass up there and we fucking jumped off a like you got a better chance than we jumped off a motherfucking bridge. Like I just don't. I'm sorry, y'all. That was a little loud. I just don't understand what the fuck we're talking about. You have a better chance at saying we jumped off a bridge. There's no way. How the fuck did we get? How the fuck does a person get to the highest part of a fucking tree, throw themselves off the tree, dies from asphyxiation, and then cause it a like? But y'all have to get equipment to come up there to get the person. These stories coming out weekly, more and more and more, and it's actually disgusting. And it shows the lack of care and how people don't even see us as humans. It's like no humility, no humanity in these situations, and it's fucking disgusting. And it's like as a person, you I like if I was in law enforcement, I'm like, damn, another person was found hanging from a tree. Another black person, a person of color. That's crazy, bro. You don't see nothing wrong with that. RP to that man. I hope they get justice for whatever happened to him, and justice for Nolan Wells, and justice for Carmelo Anthony and Cyrus Belton and everybody who's went through something traumatic with the police. Corey Ruiz, the list goes on and on and on and on. The immigrants who are going through the shit with ICE, the list goes on and on and on. Justice for the people of color who are getting cruelly and mercilessly murdered, ridiculed, essayed in those ICE detention centers. Like prayers to my people for sure, like for sure. Um, ICE is planning on investing $20 million in the use of a device called Glove, which is supposed to be to help the detainment of arrestees. These people can't even use tasers. And y'all think that they're gonna follow the protocol and rules of a motherfucking glove that can shock you to fucking. Now, granted, one person using the gloves on you, they've shown that of course all it takes is two hands, boom, they're down, yada yada yada. But you're not supposed to do more than it can't be no more than one person at a time detaining the person with those gloves on. But you mean to tell me that you will put this type of power in people's hands who literally do not give a fuck about justice, any training, any type of detainment, any type of diffusion or de-escalation, anything like that. You think this is gonna go well? Service members are suffering on U.S. vessels that are in the active war in the Middle East, and so they basically was saying that women don't have hygienic products or men don't have hygienic products. The toilets are clogged up. They're living in spaces that are not livable. Like it's not clean. It's disgusting. They have visible footage. People are sending videos from the vessels. And do you know what our president said? That is propaganda. He said it's propaganda. And he said that people are making things up. Also, they're taking this time to deport and detain immigrants who are family members or married to U.S. Army people who are in the U.S. Army. And I think it's just so funny because imagine you fighting for your country, you come home, your motherfucking spouse ain't there, your kids ain't there, your granny ain't there, your grandpa ain't there. But this is the country you sacrificing and risking your life for. Ooh. Mm-mm-mm. And also I want to note this too. I understand that we're in the middle of a crisis or a war that randomly fucking started out of nowhere, but I digress. Um, I know it might not be the easiest to get a fucking USPS package sent out in the middle of the fucking ocean during a war, but at least have some decency. Act like you give a fuck. That's my biggest thing. People would feel saw at least a little bit better if you acted like you gave a fuck. What's so hard about it? You know what? That's so unfortunate. Let's try to get them people some help that they need. Let's try to get them some edible food. Let's try to get them some um hygienic products, soap. Let's get the vessel cleaned and fixed and make sure that they're at least able to sleep at night if they're not getting fucking bombed. Anyway, Melania Trump has been MIA supposedly, allegedly. They haven't seen her in none of the outings in the recent weeks. Um, she hasn't been by Trump's side during none of his press conferences, none of his meetings, important meetings that usually the first lady would be at. She has not been there. Ironic, but guess who has been there? What is her name? Natalie Harp. Interesting. Um, Trump has also decided to side with North Korea because he's been, for lack of better words, sucking Kim Jong Un fucking toes and kissing up to that motherfucker and basically leaving South Korea high and fucking dry. All because South Korea does not want to partake in the war against Iran. Hmm. Ironic. That shot people. Y'all voted for him. And trillions of dollars have gone to this war. Billions and trillions of fucking dollars have gone to this fucking war. Our tax dollars that y'all cried and screamed about during the whole fucking campaign. That he said that he was gonna do right by our money and ain't did shit with it. Our tax dollars, billions and millions of those fucking dollars gone on a war none of us asked for, on a war he campaigned and said he was not going to have. I just wanted to notate that. So a Florida woman was arrested for 4 months due to the flock misidentifying her vehicle, and I think this is so important to talk about because These this flock company and these flock cameras have been literally snuck under our fucking noses. They go to these precincts and go to these police stations and these municipalities and have them sign off on agreements on them, and then these flock cameras get put up and they use AI to identify, I guess, cars and makes and models that pertain to certain crimes. But this is like the fucking second or third time I've seen. I know it's probably more that somebody has been misidentified. Now this lady actually went to jail for 4 months for something she did not fucking do. Another story I seen was the lady. She got pulled over, guns pulled out on her, like damn near the militia SWAT team pulled out on her, and it was the wrong car. Ironic. Two more things. A lady. I gotta figure out what. Let me figure out what area she was in. I don't think I talked about. I don't think I talked about this last time. A lady literally went to the hospital, did a biopsy. They came back, gave her a diagnosis that she had like stage 4 ovarian cancer. So she decides to tell her children what's going on. They said she might not have or more than 5 years to live, whatever, whatever. So she decides to get a full hysterectomy. Gets the full hysterectomy, comes back for a checkup. They tell her that was the wrong biopsy. Do you know how fucking insane that sounds? An unnecessary full hysterectomy in May 2020. Okay, her name is Cassandra Barksdale. She underwent a full hysterectomy unnecessarily in May 2025 after a laboratory labeling mix-up led to a false diagnosis of aggressive endometrial. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't even ovarian. I'm sorry, endometrial uterine cancer. Months later, DNA testing revealed the tissue sample belonged to another patient, prompting a negligence lawsuit against Kaiser Permanent. She originally went there for fibroids and unusual bleeding. By May, she had the surgery. That's insane. The amount of negligence to this black woman in Georgia. The amount of negligence. And that happens a lot when it comes to black people. How ironic. Um, I mean, it happens to all people. I mean, it was another lady, a Caucasian lady, who was talking about her journey, how her fetus, her baby, the baby inside of her is no longer living. In medical terms, the fetus is not viable. Two doctors have told her that, and she still has to go to two more appointments just to get the surgery to get the baby removed, all because of abortion laws. This shit is utterly fucking unacceptable. But I promise you, in states like Georgia, in southern states, this shit would have not happened to a white woman. That's all I'm gonna say. Women, that's how I promise you. That's just how I feel. Based on prior evidence and how things have been going when it comes to us, this shit would have not happened to a white woman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Call me racist, call me whatever you want, but I just don't think this would have happened. You don't hear a full hysterectomy. That's fucking insane. Insane. A school in Jefferson County, Kentucky, basically AI generated the multiple things of their curriculum. And so there are pictures and images like of maps of the United States, different things around the state, and just different things they have to learn that they've used AI to get, and you can tell the mistakes and spellings, and also the mistakes in titles of things. Um, AI got wrong, and it just shows the lack of care for the education system and how unimportant it is to the people who run it. And that's why voting is important down to the community, down to the municipality. You have to give a fuck about the people who are over your education, who's over um, even the fucking aldermans for the neighborhoods. This shit is so important because why would your kid don't even know what the fuck they talking about because they using AI to give them that curriculum in the first place, all for the saving of money and all this shit. Like this shit is crazy to me, and I think we've allowed money to take away what's really important, and it took away the care of education, the care of kids. Like that's so insane. It's one thing to use AI to help you speed up a process. And granted, don't get me wrong, I've used AI for a multitude of things, but I'm not gonna use AI and not double check the information given. I'm just not gonna do that. I think without human trajectory or human interjectory, AI would not be a thing. It's gotten all of its information from a human. So you have to go through and double check that, and that just shows the lackadaisy. I mean, the laziness, the lackadaisical things that people do. They just don't care anymore. There's no grit. There's no hustle. There's no passion. There's no desire. There's no love. Like none of that. People, most of the teachers that I grew up with love being a teacher, and they love teaching us, regardless of whatever their salary was. I know a lot of teachers don't get paid enough, but that it also shows the lack of care for the education system, regardless, because they should be getting paid a lot more than they do. I digress. Anyway, let's take it there. So I want to start off with this. Why do we gotta drink at every single motherfucking function? We drinking at the baby showers, the funerals, the wakes, the memorials. You get a raise on your job. We drinking. You had a bad day, we drinking. You had a good day, we drinking. You breathe too hard, we drinking. Like these clubs make so much money off of us because we having bottle wars over literally nothing. We gotta drink at every function, doing everything. We have a kickball day, we drinking. Like, what is going on? What is going on? I I don't even know what to say. All I'm saying is that it's insane, and the hold that liquor has on our generation is disgusting. We drinking everything, drinking at the weddings, drinking at the divorce, having a party for breathing. And don't get me wrong, I feel like we should celebrate every fucking win that we get because life is so fucking hard. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is golly, the liver is gonna be black by the time we 35. Let's just that's why throughout the week I don't really drink for real. Like if I drink, I'll drink on the weekends, whatever. But I'm not gonna be taking shots every single day. That's ludicrous. The way liquor has the hold that liquor has on us, crazy work. But I get it though. Life hard as fuck, and we're just trying to find some relief, some type of peace around here, some type of getaway from our day to day. It's just hard existing around here. God damn. Because even me, like I wasn't smoking hookah every day, all the time. Lately, I've been smoking it way more because I'm stressed out from the shit that's going on in the community, in the society, to the things that's going on in my personal life. Like, we just need a fucking break. God damn. Where is the solace? Where's the peace? Like, and it's like, of course, you go to God to find that, but sometimes people day to day lives be very stressful. Like, some type of release in some way, shape, or form might help somebody out. Okay, like we can't eat shit. Bills high as hell, gas high as hell, rent due, light due, gas due, water due, baby shark due, gas 80 million fucking dollars. Every time you look up, you're putting $25, $30 in there. You used to put 25, 30 to get you through the week. It gets you to tomorrow. God damn. It just be too much. Like it's just too much. Like we gotta find other ways and other outlets, other hobbies. You know what I'm saying? Like just find different things that can curate our mind and also stimulate our mind. Cause what? It be too much. Um. So I want to talk about intentionality, and I also want to talk about the difference between understanding and agreeing. Now, I think these conversations are so important when we talk about think pieces and when we have conversations about um, different things that people go through and we put our opinions and we share how we feel about these things and our intentions behind it is what's most important. And also why these things are important and why opinions are important or just a thought process in general, I think is very crucial. Intentionality comes into play in all things, especially when rhetoric can be so harmful to us as people, right? I think um, the verbiage that we use, how we handle certain things, the cadence and the way we move, it's very important when we have these conversations, especially in spaces of advocacy and spaces of learning, right? Because I think, like, I'll give you an example, like the non-believer versus the 20 Christians, that Jubilee thing. I don't fuck with none Jubilee do for real, and that's just my personal opinion. 'Cause I don't have the capacity to. People can be so ignorant and so hateful, and I think that even if um, there are things that we disagree on, I can still understand where you're coming from. I don't have to agree with shit you're talking about. I don't even have to like you, but I can still have a sense of understanding just for the purpose of gaining knowledge and also just trying to see how humans think and operate. But that comes from a care of giving a fuck about people, right? I know that in this world there are going to be people that I don't understand. There are going to be things that I don't understand, nor do I care to. But I can also uh, try to understand where you're coming from without trying to convert you or push you to believe what I believe, right? The conversations that they be having on there are so interesting, and I think also even when it talks about like when they were bringing in Bible verses and having these conversations, and a progressive versus a conservative, and all these different things, people who have left Christian nationalism, um, it's just so interesting because I think that just because we don't agree with each other don't mean I can't understand where you're coming from or how you got to that conclusion or how you got to that thought process. And I think it's so important when we have these conversations, the rhetoric that we use, the intentionality that we have when we go into these conversations, and also people who are liberal or progressive or just a person that likes to gain knowledge, theologian or whatever the case may be. If you go in here with the intention of trying to change someone's mind, the conversation will never go the way you want to, ever. And I think that's very crucial and important when we think about these conversations. And even if you are talking about your experience with God, or talking about your religion, or talking about how you practice your faith, you cannot go into these situations thinking that you're going to convert somebody to what you believe. That was never Jesus' purpose, and he says it up and down in the Bible. And I think it's so important that we think about that when we having these conversations. I've seen a girl talk about like how Jasmine, the lady who was the non-believer, how she carried herself and how the grace that she was given, the cadence that she moved, like her intentionality was not to try to make people not believe in God, but just try to understand where she's coming from and how she got to that point, and how a lot of the Christians on the other side were basically just trying to tell her how she was wrong and tear her down and damn her to hell for not believing in everything they believed in. And I think they just a lot of people just want their moment to shine. And for most people, this is a way of understanding. Like a lot of times I go to TikTok, go to these different things to just learn how other people think. I've always been fascinated. That's why my degree is in psychology. I've always been fascinated in that. And that's kind of why I want to get into life coaching as well. Because the way people think and how we are wired, and a lot of times where those thought processes come from, um, you can see it in the way people move and how they handle other human beings. Because regardless of all this shit, we all human, and I think we forget that when we tend to have these conversations and how we tend to demean and belittle people, and that's just not the intention. It was like when I read the Bible, from my years of reading the Bible and the verses I read, he never wanted you to convert because you didn't believe in him. I thought that was the whole point of free, or because somebody forced you to believe in him. I thought the whole point of it was free will and your own choice to choose to believe in him, to love him on your own merit. And I think that's just so weird how we lose that every time we have these conversations. And I think intentionality and understanding is so important. And agreeing is a whole different ball game. You may say something I might understand and then agree with you because I'm like, okay, that is actually makes a lot of sense, and that's why I agree with it. Or I could not agree with you and still just understand how you got to that thought process. And I think those parts of the conversation are left off because nobody really wants to. It's all about going viral, having a moment, having your 15 seconds. It's not about actual understanding and really having a conversation. But I digress. Anyway, um, I seen on a podcast. I think her name is Takara. Let me find this video real quick. Let me see. Okay, technical difficulty. Sorry about that. Yeah, talking about I was watching this clip of our club, with Club Shay Say, and then Takara, she do comedy or whatever. Then she was talking about how her opinion on just basically like women and men comparing themselves, and like women basically saying that well, if men can do it, I can do it. Men can sleep with 90 women, I can sleep with 90 men, whatever. Or if a man sleeps with 100 women and I sleep with 50 men, then I'm considered a whore and all these other things. And she basically was saying that um, I wasn't put the video up, but I don't know if I do it right now. She was basically saying that why would you want to compare yourself to a man, or why do you feel that that's necessary? Um, and being a woman, and why is the standard that a man places on you, why is it such a bad thing? And I think for me, I think that is I don't necessarily disagree with what she's saying, but I think that there is nobody should be having 100. I think my issue with double standards altogether is that it's not right on either side. Whether society has normalized it or not, it doesn't matter. Does not matter. What you've done outside of being with a person does not matter. Should not matter. Should not devalue you as a person. It should not big you up as a person. I'm talking about when it comes to sexual relations, when it comes to bodies, and just how we see and value other people. I think that that whole ideology is skewed altogether, and I think the problem is that because she is right, I don't think that you should want or compare your. I don't think you should want or compare yourself in any way, shape, or form to that anyway. Like it does not matter. And I think like and the dude who responded to it, he basically was like, if you are doing something in comparison to the opposite sex, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. If you want to have sex with 40, 50 people, then do it because you want to, not because it's something that's uh, deemed as okay for the opposite sex. And I think you're correct. Um, I think I don't disagree with neither one of them. I'm not saying that. I just think that my thought process when I heard it, I always cringe at the thought of double standard and all these different things because what you do outside of a person and a person's deeming of your worth does not fucking matter. Deeming of your value does not matter because who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? I think we have totally lost the plot when it comes to how we process things and how we think about other people. Because just because this woman you could have met, she could have been a stripper previously, she could have been all these things, and she could still come out and be a housewife if that's a choice that she chooses to make. We all can learn and unlearn things if we choose to do so. I don't give a fuck what a statistic says. You can do what you want to do out of this life if you choose to do so. Now, do we follow patterns? Are patterns things that turn into facts? Yes, or turn into data? Yes. But don't let a statistic or something push you into being somebody that you don't want to be or don't have to be. That's some bold ass shit. And I won't receive to that. I won't receive that. And I think that's why I always be having battles with myself about a lot of things that I've been through and things that people deem a certain way or feel a certain way about. Because bitch, this is my life, this is my shit, and this is what I deem it to be. And who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? You don't get to tell motherfuckers who they can and can't be and what they can and can't do. That's some weird ass energy, and y'all need to mind y'all business. Bottom line, but I do agree. Yes, do it because you want to do it, not because somebody else said it's good or because somebody else said it's bad. You have to learn and value these experiences on your own. Like if I met a stripper, shit, she bad and she wants to be a wife and she take care of herself and she handle business and that was just something she did in her before me. That don't got shit to do with me. Like I don't understand why this concept is so hard. Or like I seen another video about a dude talking about like he don't ask body counts, but he will want a woman who doesn't have a high body count. Why do you give a fuck about what the fuck she did before you? If she come to you as a woman who takes care of herself, loves herself, does what she needs to do, not asking for no handouts, not being just the average, statistical woman or whatever the case may be, why the fuck doesn't matter what she did before you? That's some bold ass shit. And y'all asking for a lot. We grown as fuck. And experiences happen, things happen. We all go through things and try things. Like you shouldn't be ridiculed or persecuted for trying something. Who the fuck are y'all? Like that I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I don't I hate these conversations because they can be harmful in rhetoric and they can also set us back. I think these podcasters do have a tendency to do so, but I don't disagree with her. I don't think she was wrong. I was just putting my spin on it because I just feel like, damn, she's actually not telling a lie. It's nothing wrong with having a pedestal set for you. I just think that when it comes to equality and when it comes to a patriarchy, you can't, and you can't pick and choose how you deem these things and what you deem is valuable and what you deem is not. Like it even goes down to how men dress and like men being fashionable. It's been a whole trend going on with that where the dude was just wearing like some boot cut, straight leg denim jeans, little button up, little forces, and he was cool. And then it's a bunch of other dudes who just fashionable. They wear like boxy crops, the bedazzled shirts, the biker chain in the pants, whatever, whatever. And of course, traditional women was saying they don't want all that fashionable shit, whatever. But what I'm saying is that when you ask for reciprocation, when you ask for equality amongst both genders, then you're gonna get things that may not seem traditional to you. And I think that we all conform to some sort of patriarchy unbeknownst to us and some sort of internal and innate hatred. And that just stems from a whole nother ideology that I talked about in my last podcast. But yeah, I think these things are important, and when we do discuss them, we just have to remember the intentionality behind them. And I don't disagree with her. I was just simply saying that why does it matter what pedestal people put you on? If a motherfucker gonna fuck with you, they're gonna fuck with you, no matter what you come with. It's people out here, women who got 5 kids, left their husband, somebody came, swept them off their feet, took care of all their kids. Like you pick and choose who you want to be out this life, and you can't let the society, nothing, tell you who you want to be and how you want to be. Like things get debunked all the time. Value gets debunked, beliefs get debunked, things change, our experiences change, and we have to learn what's important to us first. So yeah. Um my artist of the week this week is Lil Baby because he just dropped Dead Fresh. That shit was hard. I fuck with that boy. He popped it for show. Check the song out if y'all haven't heard it. He definitely, I like the little song. It's a little vibe. He popped it. He changed the beat, little switch flow. I fuck with that because he definitely be sounding the same a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just this was a different flow for him, a different tempo, different speed. I fucked with it. So it's a good song. I think you should check it out. As I said before, if you have any stories, um, advice you want, any type of ideas for the podcast, whatever. I want this to be for us. And you support me. Do not hesitate to email let's take it there pod. That's let's take it there PODD at gmail.com. Don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. Let's take it there pod on YouTube. Let's take it there pod on excuse me on Instagram. And then of course my personal social dom.oo. Let's take it there pod on TikTok, as well as my personal Damo Bands. And yeah, let's get busy, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And this has been episode 13. Your boys out.